Welcome back to Kelly's Wild Adventures, everybody. Today we're in Garden City, Michigan. We're going to be documenting and showing the Denzer murder/suicide house. We're going to be doing a voiceover, however, because we're right on a main road. The house sits on a main road and it's very noisy. And just to give you a heads up, we can't get inside because it is owned by somebody. Somebody does live here. Now, before we get started and take a walk around the property of the Denzer murder-suicide house, I'd like to read to you something I printed off from the internet to help us understand what we're looking at. This is from Ancestry.com. It says, family history. Tragedy struck this family on the morning of December 17th, 1929. After weeks of arguments and threats, William F. Denzer killed his wife, Amelia, and a daughter, Minnie Snelling, before shooting himself. According to the Garden City Police, page 4 of the Detroit Evening News, dated December 18th, 1929, Mr. Denzer took the remaining funds, $100, from the bank the previous day. Apparently, he removed some of his personal effects from his home and gave them to neighbors before returning home to reconcile with his family. Amelia was shot in the dining room and their daughter was killed in the bathroom. Minnie's husband, Clarence, was outside heading for work when he heard the shots. He came in and found his wife and mother-in-law. Fear of being Denzer's next victim, he ran from the home and called the police. Both Clarence and the police chief, Paul Lance, thought Denzer was upstairs in his bedroom. As the chief headed up the back stairs, shots rang out in the dining room. William Denzer had fired 4 shots through his mouth, and he died an hour later. Another daughter, Jenny Rice, was not living at the home. Her husband, Sherwood Rice, thought if Jenny had visited her mother and sister that morning, she also would have died. Their arguments were about returning to the family farm near Saginaw. Both Amelia and Minnie wanted to stay in Garden City. Amelia was trying to convince William to sell their current home and farm so that they could move into a smaller house. The following is another news article, page 2 of the Detroit News, December 17th, 1929. Headline: Husband kills wife, daughter, and self. Son-in-law flees home to save own life. William F. Denzer, whose home is at the Middle Belton Ford Roads in Garden City, shot to death his wife and daughter at 9:15 a.m. today, and a few minutes later fatally wounded himself as Paul A. Lance, Garden City Chief of Police, entered the house to investigate the shooting. Denzer's son-in-law, Clarence L. Snelling, who, with his wife Minnie, made his home with Denzer, was in the yard when he heard the shots in the house. He rushed in to find his wife dead in the bathroom and her mother, Mrs. Amelia Denzer, dead in the dining room. Fearing Denzer would kill him too, he fled the house and called the police. He told Lance that he believed Denzer was upstairs with a gun, but as the chief of police started up the back stairs, he heard 4 shots in quick succession in the dining room. When he entered, he found that Denzer had shot himself through the mouth. The man died in Eloise Hospital at 10:40 a.m. Mr. and Mrs. Denzer had quarreled over his desire to move to the farm at Gagetown, Tuscola County, relatives said. Mrs. Denzer wanted to sell the home in Garden City and the farm, move into a smaller quarters. Denzer had been out of work for several months. Denzer was born in let me back up here. Denzer was born in Germany. They had one other daughter, Mrs. Jenny Rice, who lives in Garden City. Neighbors said Denzer had threatened to kill his wife and daughter several weeks ago. Police found a loaded shotgun in his bedroom. Snelling is employed in the People's State Bank at Inkster. Denzer was 58 years old, his wife 56, and his daughter 35. Now let me start off the continuation of this video by saying, if anybody out there has had thoughts of harming someone else or even themselves, there is help. Call somebody. There are people to speak to. And with that being said, let it be known that this is a documentary on a dark time in Garden City history. And also, towards the end of this video, there will be some pictures put together as a short video, and towards the end, at the end, you will see the grave sites / headstones of those involved, which is in Detroit at the Woodlawn Cemetery. Let's now take a look at the property. So after walking from the front around the side and to the back of the Denzer murder / suicide house, we're looking at what looks to be a chicken shed maybe back in the day. And those trees or bushes are kind of covering the house. That's the garage you're looking at right now. That fencing's always been there. You can see it's got some sharp tips to the fencing so that if you were to hop over that, you could hurt yourself. That used to be out front also. It used to be all the way around the property. Old pictures back in the day show that kind of fencing out front. When I was a kid in the 70s, you could walk along the sidewalk and everything was overgrown. The fencing was kind of high. It looked like a gangster's house, actually. Maybe something that belonged to the mob. That's what everybody actually thought in the town of Garden City. Now we're walking off to the side. In front, all the way up front, is a mini golf. The putt-putt golf course. So that's right next door to this Denzer house. They have a porta potty right here for whoever's doing putt-putt. If they got to go pee-pee, that's where they go. So anyways, I've heard people say that when they've played the putt-putt and people tell them that the house next door, there was a murder-suicide back in 1929, they're shocked to hear that. They never knew. Actually, I never knew. Like I said, I just thought it was a gangster's house or a house owned by the mob. When you see some of the pictures at the end of this video, you'll know what I'm talking about. Some overgrown weeds and bushes and tall fencing. It just looks creepy, and everybody thought it was creepy. And some people know about the murders in the house, and some don't. Now here we're getting a closer look at the putt-putt, the mini golf, putt-putt golf course. That's a nice looking red tree over there to the left. So we're gonna walk to the side of this golf course. There's a couple people in here playing putt-putt. I know there's no sound, but like I said in the beginning of this video, the road noise was horrendous. There's no way I could have had my original voice in this video right here. Loud motorcycles were driving by, big semi trucks, cars with loud exhaust. So that was an absolute no-go there. But like I said, doing a voiceover, that works. Now we're at the front of the mini golf. They've got a table and an umbrella there if you want to sit down and have a soft drink or something to eat. Soon we'll be walking right over to the Denzer murder/suicide house. There's the side of it directly in the middle of your screen. The sun shining bright upon it. I think I played mini golf in this little putt-putt course here a couple times in my life. It's pretty fun. It's been a staple of Garden City for decades. So we're about to the front of the house. Now to the left of the house we have a small garage with that small white door. Those awnings on this house, if you look at some of the pictures at the end of this video, you'll see those awnings. The long one out front and the short ones over the bedrooms or small rooms. They've always been there through the decades. Now stopping to pause for a moment. It's so sad that 3 people lost their lives in this house in 1929. It didn't have to be. So just wonder more details. There's not a lot of details other than what we see in the newspaper or here on the internet. May God bless their souls. It looks so much different than it did 30, 40 years ago. I grew up in Garden City. Now to the right, like I said, from the backyard, I think that small brick building, which we'll see in a moment, I'm thinking that was a chicken coop at one time. It's a long rectangle building, which is kind of odd to see in today's day and age. This was probably even farmland. The surrounding area back in 1929 was probably farmland with this house. So we're getting a side view here. A nice little side view of the house, which was hard to get not too long ago, probably because there was some fencing up and now it seems to be gone. In back of me is the Salvation Army. So I'm using their parking lot to walk through and get a side view of the house. So like I said, at the end of this video, we'll see a collage of pictures put together as a long video, about a minute long. You'll see some inside and outside pictures of this house through the decades. So feel free to stick around. Looks like a picture from the 1980s or 1990s. Narrow driveway with high fencing and weeds. More high fencing and weeds. Picture from the roadway. Possibly a picture taken in the 50s or 60s. Here's the kitchen. We have some modern day appliances. I'm thinking maybe this is the basement. This definitely looks like the basement to me. The living room, maybe taken in the 70s. Here's a picture of a rectangle building outside, I'm thinking. The main living room. Look at this gorgeous bathroom. And we have a toilet that sits off to the side all by itself. Some stairways. Looks to be a bar where we could get some alcohol. Some creepy stairs going up. Some news articles. Feel free to freeze the video to read. A picture from the outside. An aerial view. Here's the modern day picture that I took today. We have the mini golf with the Denzer house in the background. And here we have Denzer Snelling Rice Cemetery, Father William Denzer. wife Minnie Snelling, mother Amelia Denzer,